Welcome back, Catches One All. I was searching, my timeline up on Facebook, and lo and behold, Honkai Impact, they're published their video up on there. So I immediately came over to YouTube, seeing that this is a Honkai Chronicles. I think this is the one that has a narration for the Global and SEA, and they're the ones that have been doing like the summation for like a lot of things, like the previous era to the current story. Up to a point, and they did one on Fuhua, I think. But anyhow, I am excited what they'll say about Kiana. So let's see what they do.
A few years after the second eruption in 2000, a girl came into this imperfect world in an experiment pod. She had no name, only a cold serial number, K423. K423 was created by Otto via splicing Kiana Kaslana's genes and that from Siren the Hersher of the Void together. The Hersher core attained consciousness in the new body, and she was expected to become a human with Hersher powers.
And she has.
In 2007, Siegfried Kaslana attempted to abduct K423 in secret, but was intercepted by Schicksal in his escape. His biological daughter went missing afterward.
What's happened to
Siegfried
her?
adopted K423 and raised her as his own, but was unwilling to name her
Aww.
after his own daughter. That was until one day, to protect the injured Siegfried, K423 took up arms to confront a Honkai beast in his place. The tender
What, these
soul
guys?
defied fate for the first time in order to protect her loved one. Touched by her action, Siegfried decided to name her Kiana Kaslana. He made a promise to her. As the descendants of House Kaslana, it was an honored tradition for them to fight for their loved ones. On this day, the girl received her name from her father, and she set foot on a path deviating from her written fate. However, fate had other plans. In 2010, the latent Hersher persona awoke. Blazes of anger scorched the world that had just opened up to her. To protect
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting this, but I really want to say that this is really cool because they're animating parts of scenes of the manga or the manhwa. The style is in manhwa form of from the the official comic of Honkai Impact Third. So it's really cool to see that they've taken the time to animate all these scenes that I've seen in the manhwa.
Kiana, Siegfried used Judgment of Shamash to suppress the Hersher of the Void. But as a result, he was severely injured. Siegfried realized that he would inevitably rouse the Hersher persona again. To protect Kiana, he left her. The girl was worthy of love. Those who loved her could do.
Wait, hold on. Now that I've noticed something, Siegfried has a ponytail, and I know that's I know this has always been part of his character. But I'm just now thinking. Kiana in her Void Drifter outfit, while it was like a time when she was transitioning to a more mature outlook, I remember that not only like the pre-augmentation of it said of it, I can't remember what it is, Valkyrie Ranger, but I remember that basically the draped over coat, which was like basically a cape, was a sign to was a sign of affection, or rather a remembrance remembrance to Siegfried, because even though like he hasn't really been part of her life very much, she still loves him very much and looks up to him. And that cape, which is basically turned more official in her Void Drifter outfit, was a sign of her her idolization to Siegfried, and that sort of symbolism has carried over into her Flame Scion outfit, because she really does have a cape right there. Um, but another thing that I think also connects her idolization to Siegfried, this may be me looking into this a little bit too much, but that she has her hair in a ponytail, much like Siegfried does. Probably like in a more stylized fashion, but I feel like the symbolization of her power, you know, of like, coming into her own, maybe like, emulating, the ponytail that Siegfried has. But that's just my thoughts on it, maybe. And it's just her just coming onto her own. So let's see. Let's go back to right here.
Nevertheless, she did not forget the promise with her father and continued to believe in the good of the world. In the Honkai-stricken Nagazora, when Raiden Mei, who had become the Hersher of Thunder, turned against her, Kiana still reached out to her. When they were fleeing Nagazora, Himeko rescued Kiana and Mei and
That
took
happened
them
in
to
the
Saint
manga
Freya.
too. The more
Kiana's
official
troubled
manga
fate
one.
was finally calmed for a brief moment. On the campus, she met friends who were like family and made the solemn vow to fight for all that is beautiful in the world. She wanted to stay, but a cruel twist would soon break her hopes.
Hersher of the Void.
Dark seeds germinated in the shadow of the peaceful years. The other sentience inside her preyed on all the good in her life once more by encroaching on her cognition in her dreams. It was Kiana's pining for a mother's love that made her awakening.
Now I will say this: I probably should, play the beginning, Tetris again. But when I played Honkai Impact Third, at the beginning when it was first introduced, I don't think the scenes such as her days in Saint Freya were there. I think it was pretty straightforward of like what was going on, but it's kind of cool to see how they revamped the beginning when I came back to Honkai Impact Third a year later. So I really do need to get back into seeing. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of the story of the beginnings, but I need to do it so I can appreciate the game more.
Impossible. She created illusions to make Kiana believe that she saved her mother from sacrificing
Or it could be just that forgetful.
to end the second eruption. When she realized the great joy she experienced was elusive, she broke down and let the Hersher persona take over. Being taken to the Schicksal HQ by Fu Hua, she was confined in the same bleak experiment pod, just as when she was born. Only this...
I had to say this.
Fu Hua, she was confined in the same bleak experiment pod.
Fuck you, Otto. There you go. Alright, customary.
Just as when she was born. Only this time, Otto, who witnessed her rebirth, wished to see the Hersher of the Void return. Just as Otto expected, the Saint Freya group revolted and attacked the Schicksal HQ with anti-entropy to rescue Kiana. In fact, he wanted them to gamble everything for Kiana. Their deep love and the ensuing sacrifices would stimulate Kiana's emotions to help her overcome the Hersher persona.
You are a
so
real
she
piece
could
of
become
shit.
a human with Hersher powers. The Hersher of the Void achieved complete awakening and pulverized Saint Freya and anti-entropy
Otto is
in a
such a
display
piece
of
of shit.
power.
Really, he is such a piece of shit.
In the end, to save Kiana, Himeko donned the Godsbane battle suit from Million Night, Eclipse. She defeated Hersher of the Void and injected the Spear of Destiny, a Honkai neutralizing serum, into Kiana at the expense of her life. Himeko fell into the imaginary space.
Himeko.
Kiana might be a Hersher, but her friends and teachers still loved her and believed in her as much. Yet their goodwill was too heavy to bear. Kiana wandered in Ark City after waking up from the nightmare. Honkai beasts and zombies hunted her. The whispers of the Hersher tortured her. She wanted to run, but had nowhere to run. Those pains and sufferings are predestined. She was test subject K423, the vessel of a Hersher, and the root cause of the world's and her loved ones' miseries. Would the world be a better place had she died? When Kiana was prepared to die with the Hersher inside, Fuha's sentience in her mind stopped her and the Hersher from reviving. Kiana finally remembered that Himeko sacrificed herself to save her because as her teacher, Himeko believed in her potential to change the world. Kiana snapped out of grief and loss. To repay Himeko's faith, she will continue fighting her ill fate. With Fuhua's help, Kiana learned how to contain the Hersher persona and utilize Hersher powers. She became a rogue hero that fought to save Ark City from destruction. Kiana discovered that the Honkai disasters plaguing Ark City were not related to the Hersher of the Void. They were the work of a shady organization known as the World Serpent. All traces pointed to a dreadful ploy, Project Stigma. The catastrophe caused by it would level Ark City to the ground. Kiana must transfer the Honkai bomb planted by World Serpent to save Ark City. She made it. Even though the Hersher persona and Honkai were eating her away, she did not fail Himeko. To change this imperfect world, she became the meteor that ripped Ark City's darkness open and propelled the bomb out of the atmosphere, which rewrote the cruel fate of this city.
She is really a true hero. Oh my god.
The unconscious Kiana was taken to the Schicksal North African lab by Durandal. Otto needed a Kiana who had harnessed Hersher powers to activate the second divine key. Sick of being manipulated, she broke out from the lab.
I mean, after everything that's happened,
and
she has a right to be
Kevin's
sickened
pursuit
by it.
under Fuhua's cover. Kiana returned to the ruins of Nagazora. She was ready to meet her end in the place where she first met everyone she cared about. She knew she had little time left as the Honkai core continued to corrupt her.
Damn.
To bring back Kiana, Mei set foot in Nagazora. Kiana had not stopped imagining how she would reunite with her friends once. Yet she could not seize the chance when it finally came. Honkai was growing thick in Nagazora. She had to step forward to protect the world and her friends, even if it would cost her her life. She had always been like this. She would laugh off the worst injuries. She saved the world, saved everyone, but kept the pain to herself. She was killing herself to protect the good in the world, but she had forgotten that she also meant the whole world to her loved ones. To save Kiana, Mei made a pact with Kevin. A new gem of conquest solidified in her body. She became the Hersher of Thunder again and joined World Serpent.
All these
by
OSTs
choice.
are bringing feels.
Mei knew her best friend would never accept her choice, but she could not create a future for her dearest if she held on to her past. After Mei left, Kiana and Bronya went to Mount Taishuan
Kiana
to find the ways
has
of
such a
mastering
journey.
Hersher powers recorded by Fuhua. Without knowing, the Hersher of sentience had already woken. In the illusion created by the Hersher of sentience, Fuhua's lonely life, bound by her mission, flashed.
The OSTs really do have a lot of
Fuhua
feels.
planned to sacrifice herself again to seal the Hersher of sentience. Kiana could not accept a fate that exchanged their lives for the greater good. It was Himeko's. It was Mei's. It was Fuhua's. It was hers once, and it was not the happiness they wanted. To end this wretched story the way they truly wanted, Kiana stopped fighting alone. She chose to believe in her friends. In the theater of domination, built by the Legion Hersher, she confronted her fate for the last time. She accepted her fate and who she was. She and the Hersher of the Void were both continuations of Siren's persona. The Hersher of the Void was Siren's hatred toward the world manifested. She was the other possibility, born from Siren's desire for love. The countless hearts that loved and helped her made this possibility a reality, turning her from test subject K423 into a Valkyrie who fights for all that is beautiful in the world, into Kiana Kaslana, who leads everyone forward. As for where her path leads to, we will soon find out.
Oh my god. That last bit. Oh, that brought some feels. It says something about a game that can invoke such feelings. I'm not gonna say that this is the perfect game. It's always got its issues. Um, but to me myself, they are minor at best. I love the mechanics. I love the gameplay. I love the characters. I love the story. As dark as it is, it when it comes to to the points of like where it's where it's gone to right now, it gives you hope for a better day tomorrow. MiHoYo, I'm not gonna say they're like the most perfect writers, or anything. There's a lot of other people that can probably like do better stories, but at the same time, I appreciate it. I love it. It is in for the past 4 or 5 years that I've been playing Honkai. It always kept me hooked into his gameplay, into his story, into his characters. It has kept me going to come back and play this game. Not only because it's so fun, but it's captured my heart. So, um, I'll say this: maybe we continue to withhold. No. Let me reiterate that. Let me step that back. Step that back. May we all uphold the flames of hope, and let them continue to guide us. Hope you guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you guys are getting as part of that YouTube algorithm. So, with that being said, Dragon GX signing out. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Laters.